Hey everyone, Derpy here, back with another Battle Pirates video, and this is my Death Roll TLC Prize Pack 1 video. For this target, I'm going to be using my Nemesis X fleet, and I'm going to be trying doing a little bit of better driving because I've had a couple comments saying that I can drive these targets better than what I've been shown on video, and that's true. So if I drive better, I can help people out better. So I'm just using my Nemesis X here. This is an Assault TLC, so you'll need to use some fleet like this. I'm going to start by just pulling the ships out, and you can kill them and take just missile damage from them if you drive them about like this. But something else you can do is you can go hide in one of those clouds here, which I'm about to do, and that will allow me to kill larger ships, like the Ghost Crawler, or even the small Dagger 2 ships I've just been hitting without taking a lot of damage. So I think I'm going to move over to this cloud on the right here to take a lot less, to be closer to everything else so I can lure them all in. Because the idea is to use the clouds here, because the enemy ships cannot see you if you're in the clouds. So what I can do is I can park in the clouds, pull one ship out, and use that as a bait ship to lure everything else to move a little bit closer. And as soon as that Ghost Crawler is in firing range of my main 4 Nemesis X, I'm going to put my flagship back into the cloud so it can't see me. And even though I haven't killed that purple support building yet, meaning the Ghost Crawler has very high penetrative resistance or survival, I'm able to kill it because it just sits there and does nothing. I'm not sure that the ship should actually be sitting there and doing nothing, because there's an AI change that was part of the 9.44 update targeting change. I think it messed up the AI too. I'm going to pull the rest of the ships and move on back to my cloud spot. I do take a little bit too much damage from getting shot at by about 8 of them at once here, but I'm going to park everything in and then use my bait ship, lure that out again so I can pull everything towards me. You will notice that there is a small Viperfish ship coming at me, and I do need to kill that because that little yellow aura on the very top means it can see me through these clouds, and if it can see me, it spots me and everything else can see me as well. The enemy ship, Daggertooth, is now in the cloud, so I have to move to my second cloud and kill things there. Again, I'm just going to park at the very beginning of the cloud so that no one can see me or hurt me, and pull one ship out to use as a bait ship. I'm going to lure it on the other side of the cloud and then move it back in as soon as everything else closes up to me. You are seeing that there are some stonefish at the very top of the screen, and they're going to start moving towards me once I get out of this cloud. You can just leave your main 4 ships stationary and use the bait ship to lure everything out, and it works pretty well. If you wanted, you could just charge through this target, and that's usually what I do, just charging through with my whole fleet and not trying to drive really fancy like this, but in this one I am trying to do a little bit better. My ships do have a couple upgrades on here, but as I've shown, upgrades really are not that important in the game for these types of ships. I am going to end up taking some damage from these 2 stonefish up here. I could spend extra time luring them towards the bottom if I wanted to, but I really don't care that much. You could drive a lot more strict than I am. I'm just trying to show you some of the basic techniques. After killing these main ships here, you'll see that most of the target is dead. I just need to go through and kill the rest of the turrets, buildings. And when I do kill these purple buildings, it releases some of the stonefish, as you can see here. One on bottom is chasing me, and one on top is also going to come at me that I didn't see, so I end up taking 1 or 2 corrosive shots from these ships. If you're driving perfectly, you should take no corrosive damage from anything in these targets. But I'm not driving perfectly, and it's just doing decent. Again, there are stonefish that are sometimes hidden in these targets, and I see them at about range 150 or 200. If they're further away than that, you won't be able to see them. You can see damage is fairly spread out on my ships. It does cluster a little bit more on some than others, but it's not excessively bad because it's not like it's destroying one entire ship. I'm going to kill this last purple building, the last turret, and the last Viperfish that's coming at me. And this is just encounter 1 of Prize Pack 1. There are 3 more encounters to go, and they are all different targets than this one, so you'll want to keep watching for that, as well as my build, which I'm going to show at the end of my videos, as I always do. You can kill the Viperfish with almost no damage because it only has about 1 long-range missile, and the rest are scatterguns that deal very low damage. So that was the end of Encounter 1. Encounter 2 is a fairly similar story, a little bit of a different setup, and it's going to be a bit easier to lure things and kill them with the clouds because they're a lot bigger, which gives you a lot more room to work with. However, there's only 1 cloud, which means you're going to be having a little bit harder time if an enemy ship gets in the cloud. You're going to end up being spotted if you're also in there. I think I'm going to manage to kill this purple building at the very start so that when the Ghost Crawler gets to me, I can kill it a lot more quickly. Killing the purple building reduces the penetrative survival of the Ghost Crawler a lot. Again, I'm going to poke one ship out here, just my Nemesis X flag, it doesn't matter too much, and get some ships coming at me. I do have some little viperfish coming at me that I do need to kill first, and if you kill them all before the enemy ships enter the cloud, then you'll be great, but I am going to have to do a little bit of dancing, a little bit of driving here, because there's one at the very bottom that I'm not going to end up killing before that first dagger tooth gets in the cloud. So I have to kill that one too, as it's in the cloud and it can spot me, meaning everything else on the map can spot me also. So once that's dead, once these two here are dead, the enemy ghost crawler is going to stop, which is going to be great for me. And because I killed that purple building at the very start, the ghost crawler can deal it takes a really short period of time to kill. You also see that there was a stonefish hanging out right next to it, which I was able to kill really easily. I find those are the highest damage ships in this target for me. Going on to the bottom group, pulling that towards me, and you can barely manage to hit some from where you are. It's better just to pull one out and kill one at a time than trying to kill everything at once. If you can hit one by moving your ships around inside the cloud versus pulling out a bait ship, then you should try and go for that. Looks like I have the main bits of the enemy ships done here, except for a couple stonefish that again are hiding in this target. I am noticing that none of my countermeasures are shooting down the weapons from the stonefish. I believe that those weapons have 100% flak evade, which means that your countermeasures are useless against them. Going through the target, being mindful that again, when I trigger these purple buildings, that I'm going to end up having small viperfish ships come at me, so I need to watch the minimap to see where they are and how they're coming at me. If I kill this very top one here, it's going to trigger the red dot in the bottom right corner, and I'm going to be able to go meet that. And I'm noticing a little bit of funky behavior here. If I press S or click some certain ways, my ships are actually moving in the opposite direction than they should be, and I believe that's an unintended bug, unintended feature here that I shouldn't really be experiencing. Things are going around in circles, which should not be happening. You'll notice that I do leave some mines behind because my ships are upgraded, but I'm really not driving to pull enemy ships over the mines, even if I theoretically could do that. You'll see, even though I'm clicking to move, for some reason, my Nemesis ships are heading up to the top and trying to stay there. I am not using a crew in this target, although if you want to use one, I suggest something like Steelheads, Seal Serpents, or Wolfpack, because those would all help out with a little bit of defense. That was the end of Encounter 2. We're in Encounter 3 now, which is again a fairly similar story, same style target. Now, I did mention that you can use this target using Saturns or other assault ships like War Pegasus, your Pegasus fleet. I may try to show other encounters throughout this. I'm only going to show the first encounter in this first video, first prize pack in this video, so it's short enough. And encounter number 3 here, I'm killing that purple building, so the ghost crawler that's already moving deals lower damage. And this is a really good example of using the bait method in the cloud. I can park my ships and kill one here without really even moving that much. I do manage to notice the viperfish coming at me from the very bottom. I'm going to give myself enough working room to kill that before it ends up hurting me too much. Other ships do start moving, but I'm going to be able to kill this one fast enough, only 1 or 2 volleys before I can get back in the cloud, and you can see the ghost crawler has moved far enough forward that I can kill it. If it hasn't moved far enough forward, then I can move one ship. I generally tend to use my flag as a spotter, or as a bait ship. I can move one ship out to lure everything else in a little bit closer to me. I find that the border around the cloud here is actually somewhat forgiving. Even if you look like you're not in it all the way, you're probably still going to be in it with at least the center of your ship, and it has to do with the 3D projection. The cloud's a little bit bigger than it actually looks like, which is a good thing. I have my bait ship parked at the very bottom here, meaning that these stonefish are coming directly at me. I can move around my ships inside the cloud perfectly fine without triggering anything, as well as readjusting my bait ship, but that the path that the stonefish takes is directly through my firing range, which is what I want. I want to kill this without it being able to shoot at me. That's the goal. After I kill this, I'm going to go ahead and kill 1 or 2 turrets before I engage the top group. I just find that that's a little bit easier to do than try and deal with the top group first. As I was mentioning, I am going to try and get videos out of of prize pack 2, 3, 4 with my Pegasus fleet, which should be really easy, as well as my Saturn fleet, which should be a little bit trickier because I don't have the greatest build on my Saturn fleet. It's the one that was given out quite a long time ago. I killed another couple Daggertooth here by just having my ships stay in the cloud, and I'm luring the stonefish again by moving my Nemesis X on the very bottom of the target away from everything else. I'm going to go through the rest of the target here and kill things pretty quickly. There is a stonefish stuck on the land that you'll see here. They tend to get unstuck when you come closer, which means you need to be pretty careful because as you move closer, it's going to try and circle around you, so you need to be ready to spin away from it before you end up getting hurt. I am actually seeing that my countermeasures aren't working too well. I think my projectile speed is a little bit low on my Nemesis X countermeasures because they're not actually reaching, the little white things are not actually reaching the missiles before they reach my ships. This last group here, I could park it in cloud if I wanted to, and I think I will, just to try and reduce a little bit more damage. Notice that there is another stonefish, or viperfish, excuse me, coming at me from the very top left. I'm going to end up being able to kill that before I actually hide in the cloud so it doesn't spot me. Once I killed that, I can kite out the last ship a little bit. I'm worried it's about to get in the cloud, which it does, so I have to keep kiting it. And if you get close to these ones, they will do a little bit of corrosive damage to you, which is not the end of the world, but the less damage you take, the better. Now, this was the end of killing this last ship will mean I'm reaching the end of encounter 3 out of encounter 4. So the next encounter after I kill this big last building is going to be the last encounter. You notice a little bit more weird glitches stuff. When I press S, my ship would stop for a second before I'd start moving. This is also great time to mention that there is an enemy viperfish left here, or stonefish left here, the ones that hide, and if you don't kill the target all the way, they will be left at the very end. As I was saying, if you don't kill a stonefish all the way, they'll be left at the very end of the target, and your fleet can't find them if you're too far away, so you need to split your ships up and go find it. But this is encounter 4 here, it's the last encounter of Prize Pack 1, and which is only going to award you the weapon and some tokens, which is decent, but if you need the good prizes, you need to get up to encounter 3. You're going to notice I do a little bit more pulling here because there's more things in the target to pull, so I'm going to park everything in the top corner here, in the fog, and then pull my Nemesis X out just to see what ships I can lure in. Sometimes ships won't move if you're too far away, so you'll see that I can only pull one ghost crawler here before I have to move everything else and pull things with a slightly different angle that's a little bit harder. I'm going to move my Nemesis X back into the cloud, and you can see that even though I'm shooting at this with all 4 ships, and soon to be 5 ships, I'm still going to take quite a while to kill the ghost crawler because I haven't killed one of these purple buildings yet. And I think in this target, you can see I take no damage from this anyway, so it's just a little matter of patience trying and killing it a little bit faster or slower. After that first one is dead, I'm going to take my bait ship and pull it off to the bottom of the screen, trigger the next couple ships to come in. As soon as they're about to shoot at me, as they think they're about in range of the cloud, I'm going to pull my ships together to see what things I can kill from there. Doesn't look like I'm going to quite be able to get it that way, so I have to pull my flagship out, again pull my bait ship out, and make things come at me a little bit better. I do get shot at a couple times by these larger stonefish missiles, which is not ideal, but I am able to kill 3 or 4 ships just sitting in the cloud here doing nothing. You'll see that the stonefish die a lot quicker than the larger ghost crawlers do, at least if I haven't made the penetrative resistance a little bit lower. Now this entire TLC is a PvE TLC. You're hitting assault targets, but the prizes are PvP prizes, so you don't have to worry about this if you don't want to get the Subjugator. This is an optional TLC. It's not one that you necessarily need to do. After I kill this first group of ships on the left, I can pull off my bait ship over more to the right to get more things coming at me from that general direction. Hiding in the cloud right below this won't work because there are some shrouded viperfish in the target, and I believe that if you're trying to trigger if you hide in that cloud, even though they're still shrouded, meaning they really shouldn't exist yet, they still are able to see you. So I'm going to trigger the stonefish coming at me again with my bait ship and let them go right through the firing arc of my back 4 ships while I just dance around the rest of the target and just wait for them to move into my firing range with just my back 4 ships stationary. I'm then going to go finish out the rest of this target. There's a lot of missile damage in this target that you can see, a lot of missile turrets. The small corrosive turrets have such a short range, you should never go into them unless you mess up driving. And you could even run the target on auto for killing the turrets. That works really well. I believe that the Nemesis X do better against the turrets than the Saturns do, just from what I've seen from my general experience. You can use the same driving technique for the Saturns, and I'll show that in my Prize Pack 2 video once I get that going. You can barely outrange them if you go around the back. If you go around the front, you can't hit all the targets from just one side, but going around the back lets you kill things a little bit better. Now I am going to make a little bit of a mistake here, because after I go through these targets, what I should do is go all the way around to the outside before I kill that blue building. I'm not specifically sure why this one's blue, maybe because it triggers everything at once, but I'm going a little bit too close to the center, so I'm going to get that one shot and trigger all 8 enemy viperfish coming at me right at once, and I'm going to end up taking a little bit more damage than I should, but if I keep moving against this corrosive splash damage, area of effect damage, it's really not that bad. You see I am taking some shots, but they're somewhat missing me, and they're dealing damage evenly throughout my entire fleet, so it really doesn't matter too much. But if I were to go around the back and only trigger it from one side, more ships might get stuck on the land. I'd definitely be able to not get sandwiched between 2 ships at once. So after I kill these last couple ships, I'm going to go over my build here, which has not changed in a while, but it's good just to see what people are using in these targets. If you have any questions on the target or the TLC, the prizes, you can go ahead and drop a comment below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can, especially if you put it on YouTube or Facebook. So I'm killing this last ship here. It's staying on the land. I'm having to dance around a little bit, but it should be fine. If you're enjoying this style video where instead of just uploading the video with the blank screen, I talk on it, I talk about it, I commentate on it, you can leave a like on that video. That lets me know that this is helpful. So you can see here that I took mainly penetrative damage on this one, a little bit of corrosive. I'm went over the prizes, and now I'm going to show my build. This is about a 2-hour repair time. You can do multiple encounters at once and then repair. My build is pretty much finished. My Nemesis X is a little bit more of a tank than everything else, but it's just a pretty basic build. I think I have a fleet spotlight video with the codes in that video too on my channel, so you can look for that. But like I said, I hope this video helped you. If it did, make sure you leave a like, and if you want more Battle Pirates videos, you can subscribe. And as always, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.